Hello, welcome to this week's paint along. So we're gonna get started by doing basically. I'm gonna do like a dark iron type color, and since up here we're gonna have a fake smoke, I will be doing NMM to kind of not break the illusion of this not actually being real smoke. I mean, yeah. Obviously, you can't make real smoke, but since this is so solid and we'll be painting it on as opposed to like using some like cotton balls or like you take those and stretch them out and kind of add a little glue, like watered down glue. You can kind of shape and form them as the glue is drying and get like a kind of similar smoky look. Actually haven't many actually right nearby because I need to fix it actually. But this is actually all cotton balls that had a bunch of, I added a lot of watered down glue. But yeah. That's all that is. It's just cotton ball that's at the bottom. Anyway, since we aren't doing that, because this had it pre-sculpted, I think it would probably, sorry about that, probably be better to go with NMM, aka another fake, another illusion painting. So anyway, these are the colors that I'm using for the dark iron NMM, and I'm not going to go like super bright, at least to start, because I'm thinking more in the realm of like cast iron type level of I mean color as well as how like shiny versus matte. Like if you look up cast iron, it's really not shiny at all. So these three will be a good start. This color is coal black, and it is actually what I already have as the prime. And then that next color is mostly the mountain stone with a little bit of that coal black. And then this is mostly pretty much all mountain stone. And then we got a little bit of mountain stone with wolf gray. And you can see we can go up even a little bit higher. And we might go all wolf gray on here.
Bye, Mom.
Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and use my number 2 because I'm number 2 Da Vinci Maestro. This is number 10 series. Here we go. We'll just go ahead and get started and kind of get a feel for this. There are some dents for sure already sculpted in, so want to keep those in mind. We're starting with that second shadow color, and we're gonna go pretty much all around. Except for those dents. You want the dents to be darkest on the inside. And I think we'll focus just in this small area. We're doing NMM. It can be easy to kind of try and rush the process, and I mean, unless you're like, you know, have a master level of experience, which supposedly that's about 10,000 hours, it's probably not realistic expectations. I have often found that it goes a lot better when you start off just having the expectation that you're going to need to go back and forth and take your time and just have patience. Things aren't going to look great right away. And I am going back to that, so there will be a lot of kind of going back and forth. This is that darkest shadow. And then you can also use that darkest shadow to create your own dents. Even if there aren't any already sculpted. Right now I'm only working with those first 3 colors. That darkest shadow that's already primed everywhere, and then the next 2 colors after that. To kind of let myself get a good feel for where highlights need to be, especially since we're not going super shiny. Just stipple in some of this color down in there. Try and give that a feel of like other dents as well. And then that darkest shadow kind of help with that in those areas. do think I have too much of that lighter gray on here, the mountain stone, actually. Since I am wanting to do a darker iron. That is another thing to keep in mind that I can tend to do as a way of kind of rushing the process is trying to do everything at once. So the dents and getting the blends down. So get the blends down, and then we can easily come back in and focus in on those dents. Let's try blocking in. I want to go really small, just like in when you're painting regular black. You want a lot more of the surface that you're painting black. You want more of it to be black than what you would normally do with other colors. So I definitely had gotten too much of it being that light gray. See even better now here from the side, now that we don't have the shine from the wet paint skewing it. That there's still, you can see that there is the beginnings of the highlight, but still looking black. I'm just adding a tiny bit more water to my darkest colors so that I can get them to blend a little bit better without leaving brush strokes. So right now we're just trying to get that nice blend. Not necessarily perfect, but we do want it to be not super obvious to the eye. And yeah, and then anything that's like still visible, especially when you have like, in my case, a camera where it's zoomed in, and we can see here and here where there are some lines there. But to the naked eye, you can't really see those. Just to kind of help you get an idea of what I mean by blended well enough. Now we're going to come in and with that highest highlight where it's mostly wolf gray. We're not quite doing full with wolf gray. We're going to make it really small. Right, basically here's where I think we're going to have a lot of the concentrated direct light, and that definitely needs to be thinned down as well. If you can see the brush strokes and it's not blending at all, then you need to add some more water. Because that's a good rule of thumb. That's definitely better already, I can tell, even though we still have that underline area. We'll go ahead and let that dry and we'll start working on these dents that are sculpted in for sure. So we got one here. We're going to come to the bottom of it with the mountain stone. Just paint that bottom lip. Let's see, there's another one there, kind of a small bit there. Some small ones down below as well. I'm gonna thin that out a little bit, and we want that coal black to be right up against where that highlight is going to be. And the highest highlight, let's see. I'm gonna try and create some little dents. This is using that mountain stone again. Again, you're gonna want some of that coal black right near that highlight. All right, that up here is definitely dry. So we can go back up here and kind of try and fix this area here, hopefully without messing up those dents too much. A little bit of that shadow color, second shadow color that is, kind of make sure we got a blend going here. Now this is also going to be one of the harder things to do NMM on because it is a curved surface. So we're just going to have to do a lot of experimenting. So we can't just do this straight line. As you can see, it already doesn't look quite right since it's a rounded surface. I'm assuming that like just looking at it, it's just like something doesn't seem quite right. This is that highest highlight. I'm just doing kind of half circles. I've done a few things where it's a rounded surface. Just trying to fix up the blending here a little bit. gonna make a glaze of that coal black. We do want it to be black, so that's what we'll do the glaze of. We're gonna kind of help get the blending a bit better. We need it to be dry though first. Yeah, I know, and I realize I did accidentally go over. That's kind of another reason you can see why it's just easier to focus on getting the right blending for the NMM first. The glaze. And this will, it's kind of a heavy glaze, but it'll just tint what was underneath that. So we'll still be able to, once this dries, we'll still be able to see those layers underneath. But it'll darken it down quite a bit. And you can do that back and forth, but you can do multiple times where you kind of bring the highlights back up some more, bring a glaze in once those dry to help make sure that paint's very blended really well, but also highlighted well too. Waiting for that to dry and do another glaze like I talked about. I think we're definitely getting close there to where we're getting that look of a kind of dark iron. You can see there's definitely that last layer was still left a lot of still a pretty strong line. If you ever need to cheat, you can just go like this, set it down with your where a light is strong light. Down right beneath it. Actual light is, yeah, that is pretty much right beneath the light. I can see highlights here, here, and here for sure. You can also take an actual metallic if you're having a hard time still seeing, and put that on, and then that'll be a really strong indicator. Whether you've been trained to like have professional training with art, if you've seen a lot of armor or study kind of, you know, the specific metal that you're trying to recreate using paint without actual metallics, your eyes will, if you start kind of paying attention, you'll notice there's like, you know, if it's not right, there'll kind of be that feeling in the back of your mind of like, something's off, or just, I don't quite like that. And that's probably a good indicator that like your eyes are trying to tell you that it's not right. Yeah, I think that is that. There we go. I'm starting to see like I'm like this is starting to look right. Like, I'm starting to get that look of like it's definitely metal, but you know it's not like super shiny. So we're gonna take that glaze and come back. I'm not gonna do. I'm just gonna do kind of the edges here of that highlight, and then go down. I think I will also go up here to where the shadow, dark shadow should be as well, just with the glaze. And even here, now that it's sitting, it even is starting to have that look that it's, you know, this dark metal like kind of cast iron, where it's not super shiny, but we can see that it is metal here compared to the other side. So it does need maybe a tiny bit more, and that's just more of a matter of adding in a bit more of that highlight, I think. I don't know that we do need to go up to full strength wolf gray. I think this might be good enough where it is. We just need to kind of do a little bit more back and forth blending to get it quite right. Doing a little wet blending there. Was what I was doing there from the mountain stone after I'd put on another glaze. So you can see like how much of this is just mainly black. Like it's mainly that second shadow color right here. Just getting a little bit overexposed from the white palette. But it's mostly the mountain stone with like 1 or 2 drops of coal black is what that is. Down here is dry, so let's go ahead and come back and add back in the dents. Now that we are feeling pretty good about the blending, now we can come in and add these dents. Or rather accentuate what they have sculpted. For the ones that are going to be really deep, strong dents, we'll bring in that highest highlight. Again, bringing in that coal black, put up right next. We'll just do that on all of these little ones, even not even. to that glaze to make it a bit lighter. It's not as strong, but it'll still give us that tinting. Let's see how light that's going to be. Always turn it away from the light, or get away from the light somehow, so you can kind of see how it's going as it dries. Okay, I think that is looking really great now. So we're going to stop there. But let's see like how easy it is to kind of end up having to take a lot of time, really, going back and forth and back and forth. And so you just really need to remember to give yourself some patience when you're going to be doing some NMM. And I think, and again, remember, this is a curved surface, so it is just harder. You do just kind of have to keep trying out placements of the highlights all along the curved surface. So it's like when you saw as I threw out this almost an hour now, that at first I just kind of started with the typical straight line, and then I changed, and it's kind of, some areas it's a little bit wider and whatnot. So yeah. There we go. And we, even with those glazes and going back over down here, you can see, like, we can still see these little dents that we freehand. Well, some of it was sculpted in, some of it's freehand. Yeah. There we go. So we got one. It's a very small section, but especially now that we've kind of got a handle on this side, we'll likely be able to do it pretty easily on this side as well. And then we'll just continue along. Some of these I'm going to leave for some actual, like, for gold metallics. I'm going to do some gold accents in some of these places. So not all of this is going to be that dark iron, but we'll just continue on. Next week there is going to be a lot of this, so sit tight and just kind of just remember, give yourself some patience, and remember it just takes time, and a lot of just doing it, getting the hang of it. Look at pictures of the real thing too, not under light. You can probably find some things online too if you don't have the exact metal that you're looking for. Anyway, yeah. There we go. So I will let you go. Have a good week. See you next week. Bye.